So sometimes it's good if you're looking for information and you're having a hard time finding it about somebody, look within the hyperlinked articles that are included in that one particular article you're trying to add to. It's especially since you all are multilingual, it's just important to know. Copy and paste is acceptable between Wikipedia articles, and that includes articles in other languages. So if you had an article about a scientist in one language and you wanted to create it, for example, in English Wikipedia as well, you would just need to translate the article and paste it. When you create the new article, paste that content into the new article. And of course, when you do that, when you copy and paste it, in many cases, it will actually also bring the citations with it. And it is okay if the citations that you're using or the materials that you're using are not in English. It's fine to cite things in other languages. We only ask that when you click publish, you will get a pop-up menu asking you what you've done. It's called our edit summary pop-up menu. All you'll say is copy and pasted article from another Wikipedia article, and you name the article, for example. We just want to make sure that when you copy and paste that you are crediting the original article. But all this to say, copy and paste is acceptable between Wikipedia articles. We will briefly be discussing how to create new articles. I do know that because we are working, or hopefully within the next phase of this project, we are working to create articles about women who don't already have them. So it is very important that we, even though some of us are new editors, that we do discuss how to create new articles. Now, let's say you're new and you're cautious and you want to start an article as a draft. It is possible to do that, and this is how you would do it. So let's say you want to start an article, but you want to start it as a draft. So before I move forward, I'll tell you the pros and cons of starting an article as a draft. So starting it as a draft allows you to publish it, but to come back to it and keep making changes before it's ready to be published. So that's a great thing. If you were to publish it within main space, which means basically not as a draft, as a regular article, and it wasn't quite ready to be published, other editors will come along and nominate it to be deleted because it wasn't ready to be published. So if you are worried about that and you just want more time to create the article, you just don't want to sit down in one sitting and create it, you just want to have it started and come back to it and keep working on it, I highly recommend starting an article as a draft. So to start an article as a draft, or to create a draft of a new article, I'm just going to get rid of my changes here. You would need to go up to the top right Wikipedia search bar. I always do this just to make sure the article doesn't exist. I'm just going to write sample article. So you would type draft:sample article and search for it and make sure it doesn't come up. Okay, great. How do I know that it doesn't exist? Because it says you may create this page. Great. So I'm going to click on the red link. Clicking on red links in Wikipedia means, or red link rather, means that that article does not exist yet. By clicking on a red hyperlink, it will create the article. So I'm going to click on that. And you'll see here, I am now presented with a blank page. And so this is where you would start building the article. So as we previously discussed, you'd start with your lead paragraphs. You'd put, if you're working on a person, for example, you'd put their name. If you have it the year that they were born, we do acknowledge, of course, that not a lot of these things that you would want to put are always available, but put whatever biographical information you have about that there, about their birth year. You would then write a couple sentences about their notability, and then you would start building out sections. So let's just say in the first section we have sample name, and then our first section we will want to be early life. So you can, I'm full of typos today, sorry. You would just go here, make that a heading, sample life, great. Some people like to do early life and education. Some people like to just separate them, but let's just make another section. Okay, now you want to put a section on that person's education, great. You can do that. And as you go, you'll be adding content, you'll be citing your sources, you'll be adding hyperlinks, all the things that we previously discussed. Lastly, one quick tip I do want to share. You do want to name a section, references. Okay, that way when you start to add your citations, it does appear. For some reason, I've had the experience when I start citing my sources, they don't automatically, they appear within the text as the number, but the source doesn't exactly show up. So I'm going to show you, for example. It doesn't show up till you publish. So I'm going to cite this source by clicking a URL and clicking done. Oh, I'm sorry. I clicked the wrong thing. I'm going to cite my source by clicking cite, pasting my URL and clicking generate. I'm going to click insert. And you'll notice how my citation has generated here within the text, but the actual citation, the URL that I cited, did not go into the references section. For some reason, I've noticed this. I don't know if it's a glitch or something that's beyond my understanding. But what if I don't want to publish this because this is not something we really need to publish, or we don't want going out there. But if I click publish, that citation will in fact be visible on the bottom. I'm not really sure why it doesn't show you it this way, but it is what it is. So one of the ways that you can actually see a preview of a page, if you're not in Visual Editor, another way is if you click Create Source, just to see. And if I scroll down, I can actually look at a preview. Now you'll see in the preview mode within source editing, I can see that reference. Again, I know this is maybe a little confusing, but just know that sometimes if you create a references section, you've added a citation for a new article, and you don't see your reference at the bottom, once you click publish, you will see your reference at the bottom. I can't explain it. It's just something that's been happening. So again, that's how you create a draft article. You would just type draft and colon and move it, and type sample article or the name. Of course, you want to name your article. Click the red link to create it, and then just start in Visual Editor, start building out your article. So I do know that, again, a major goal of this event is to teach you how to create new articles. So this would be a great way to start to create drafts. Now, let's say you had a draft article. I have one that I actually worked on a while ago, and I'm going to show you this in real time. Okay. So let's say I have a draft article that I started for an event that we're doing. Now I created this draft article. You'll see I included the different sections: early life and education, career, awards that this person won, exhibitions they've been a part of. And let's say you've done the same. You created an article about a scientist, and you want to move it from draft format into main space, which means that you want to make it a draft, take it from being a draft to putting it into regular Wikipedia. So all you need to do is come over here, go get the draft up on your page. Again, these things are all included in the slides that I will share with you. So you don't have to remember this off the bat, but that you will be able to find it out in the slides. So go to the draft, you're going to go to More, which is next to View History, and select Move. And then you'll get this menu. I'm going to select Draft and scroll up. I don't know why I have to scroll up. It's another glitch here, but select Article. So what you're doing is you're moving this draft from draft to article. And once I click Move, the article is now no longer in draft form. Okay, so that's a way that you move things from draft to regular Wikipedia when you are ready to publish them on what we call main space Wikipedia. If you ever want to move an article from main space Wikipedia back to being a draft, you can do that just by going to More, Move, selecting Draft, and Move Page. Okay, you always get this pop-up menu here. And now my article is once again a draft. Another way to create an article as a draft is to go to the article wizard, which will walk you through the process step by step. I will say that if you use the article wizard to create a draft, the draft article does go to a list of other Wikipedia editors within the editor community, and you will get a lot of feedback. Sometimes they'll just sit there and before anyone has the time to review them. So if you don't want to wait, if you just want to go ahead and create the draft without too much community input in the beginning, I would recommend doing it the way that I previously showed you. If you do it this way using the article wizard, it sometimes is a little trickier. Now, let's say you're a more of an experienced editor or you don't want to start something as a draft. All you would need to do is type the name of your article that you want to create into the search bar. Same thing we did before. Click on the red link and it will start your article for you. And you can build out your article. The difference here is that this, of course, is not a draft, so you don't have to move it anywhere from draft format to regular format. This is, once you create this article, will be live on MainSpace Wikipedia immediately. We recommend this only if you've gotten some experience and you're ready to publish. You're more than welcome to start in this manner. The last thing I do want to show you about creating articles